Have you ever heard of a story so powerful it tries to explain all of human suffering, free will, and our very purpose? That's Paradise Lost, one of the greatest epic poems in English literature, written by John Milton in 1667. It tells the famous story of humanity's fall from grace, but goes so much deeper, exploring sin, obedience, and the hope for redemption. Milton wrote this masterpiece in what's called blank verse, and it's considered a triumph of 17th century literature. In this video, we're going to break down the full story, its complex characters, powerful themes, and lasting significance, step by step. So, who was the genius behind this epic? John Milton was not just a poet, he was a brilliant scholar, and a political thinker who lived from 1608 to 1674. He saw England torn apart by its civil war, a time of massive political and religious conflict. What's truly incredible is that Milton was completely blind when he wrote Paradise Lost. He dictated the entire poem from memory, relying on his extraordinary imagination and intellect. The poem is deeply personal, reflecting his strong Puritan beliefs, his deep understanding of Christian theology, and his passionate ideas about freedom and individual responsibility. He wasn't just telling a Bible story. He was wrestling with the biggest questions of his time and ours. Now, let's dive into the incredible story. It all begins not on earth, but in heaven. The most beautiful and powerful archangel, Lucifer, who we come to know as Satan, becomes filled with pride. He refuses to accept God as supreme authority and convinces a third of the angels to join him in a massive rebellion. A great war erupts in heaven, but Satan and his followers are defeated. They are cast out of heaven and into a fiery abyss called Hell, a place of eternal torment. But Satan is not one to give up. From the depths of hell, he rallies his fallen angels. His new mission, to corrupt God's newest and most beloved creation, humankind. He hatches a plan to get his revenge by destroying the innocence of Adam and Eve. Satan then undertakes an epic journey, escaping hell and traveling through the vast, chaotic cosmos to find the newly created earth. This part of the poem truly showcases Milton's grand, cosmic imagination. Meanwhile, in the beautiful Garden of Eden, God has created Adam, the first man, and from his rib, Eve, the first woman. They live in a state of perfect innocence and happiness. Their only rule is to obey God and not eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's a simple test of their loyalty and free will. But their paradise is about to be shattered. Satan, in the clever disguise of a serpent, finds Eve alone. Using flattery, twisted logic, and persuasive arguments, he tempts her to eat the forbidden fruit, promising her that it will make her like a god. Eve gives in to temptation and takes a bite. Then, she convinces Adam to eat the fruit as well, so they can share the same fate. This single act of disobedience is the pivotal moment of the entire epic, the fall of man. The consequences are immediate and devastating. For the first time, Adam and Eve feel shame, guilt, and fear. Sin and death have now entered the world, and their perfect paradise is lost forever. They are banished from the Garden of Eden by God, but they are not left without hope. The Archangel Michael is sent to guide them. He reveals to Adam a vision of the future of humanity, full of struggle and suffering, but also culminating in the promise of a Savior, Jesus Christ, who will one day redeem mankind. To understand this story, you have to understand its characters. First, there's Satan. He's the main antagonist, a rebellious archangel, driven by pride and ambition. Milton makes him a surprisingly complex and charismatic figure. Then you have Adam, the first human. He starts as innocent and obedient, but proves vulnerable to temptation. Eve, the first woman, is portrayed as intelligent and curious, but her curiosity is what Satan exploits. God is the supreme, all-powerful being, who is both just in his punishments and merciful in his ultimate plan. The Son, or Jesus, is presented as the ultimate hero and redeemer of mankind. And finally, there's Michael, the powerful archangel who carries out God's commands and guides Adam and Eve after their fall. The poem is built on several powerful themes. The most central is free will versus obedience. Adam and Eve weren't puppets. They were given the freedom to choose, and their choice determined the fate of all humanity. The epic is also a classic struggle of good versus evil. Satan represents pride, rebellion, and chaos, while God represents justice, order, and mercy. The theme of sin and redemption is also key. The story shows how one act of disobedience brought suffering into the world, but it also lays out a path to redemption through faith and grace, which was central to Milton's Christian beliefs. And finally, Milton offers a powerful warning against pride and ambition, showing how Satan's own hubris was the cause of his downfall. What makes Paradise Lost a literary masterpiece? For one, it's written in blank verse, which is unrhymed, iambic. This gives the poem a grand, majestic rhythm without sounding sick. Milton also uses epic simile-slung, elaborate comparisons that create breathtaking imagery of heaven, hell, and the cosmos. The style is elevated and filled with references to classical literature, like the works of Homer and Virgil. But what really sets it apart is Milton's deep dive into the psychology of his characters. He especially humanizes Satan, showing us his internal conflicts, his moments of doubt, and his persuasive reasoning. It's this psychological depth that makes the characters feel so real and timeless. So, why does a poem written over 350 years ago still matter so much today? Paradise Lost is widely considered the greatest epic poem in the English language, standing alongside the ancient classics. Its power lies in its exploration of universal human themes that we all grapple with: temptation, guilt, free will, and the search for meaning. It had a massive influence on later writers, especially the Romantic poets like William Blake and William Wordsworth, and its legacy continues today, inspiring countless works of literature, art, and even movies. In the end, Paradise Lost is so much more than just the story of Adam and Eve. It is a profound, epic exploration of human nature, morality, ambition, and redemption. Milton's poetic genius weaves together grand imagination, deep philosophical questions, and spiritual reflection, creating a work that remains truly timeless. Reading Paradise Lost is like taking a journey through heaven, hell, and the depths of the human soul. It's a masterpiece that continues to teach, inspire, and challenge us. Centuries later. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into classic literature. See you next time.